Hello, welcome to Local Anaesthetic Podcast, your weekly injection of mind-numbing local news. And joining us, as always, is my good friend, and your friend too, really, I hope. Rob, how you doing there, Rob?
I'm well, mate, yeah. Which is surprising considering, but yeah, no, I'm not too bad.
With the current circumstances going on, the pandemic, which COVID-19 now is, the question, how are you, really does take on a different significance.
It certainly does, and, you know, considering that the numbers are growing by quite an alarming rate, actually, yeah, I think that question will become more and more relevant, I suppose, over the next couple of weeks.
Yes, and I do feel just a certain duty upon me, because not everybody will have access to the information. We are recording on the 12th of March for the fastidious amongst you, 2020, and I just wanted to let people know, Rob, for anybody out there who was wondering or who is suffering, what the latest advice is. Can I do that?
Yeah, I think so. Why not?
So, basically, the new guidance as of the 12th of March 2020, because we are now apparently in the delay phase. And I did watch the press conference, and one of the interesting things, Rob, the scientific advisors said was that it's not desirable to stop the spread of the virus completely. And the reason being is that they need us to develop an immunity to it.
Well, it was quite interesting because so the Guardian ran a question and answer session between 1 and 2 today, which I was following, and one of the questions was whether the body develops antibodies as a result of having the virus, and I think the jury's still out, but yeah, I can understand that.
Anyway, here's the latest guidance. If you have any symptoms, however mild, stay at home and do not leave your house for 7 days from when your symptoms started, and those symptoms are basically meant to be, you know, a cough or a fever. That will help protect others in your community while you're infectious. Plan ahead, ask others to help to ensure that you can successfully stay at home. Ask your employer, family and friends to help you get the things you need to stay at home. Stay at least 2 meters away from other people in your home whenever possible. Sleep alone if that's possible. Wash your hands regularly for 20 seconds each time using soap and water. Stay away from vulnerable individuals such as the elderly, those with underlying health conditions, and if you don't need to call NHS 111 to go into self-isolation. You should only be calling 111 or using the online tool, because there is one, if during those 7 days your symptoms worsen. Okay?
I think that's clear.
Now, Rob, you said you were feeling a bit under the weather.
Yeah, I don't think it's anything. Well, I don't think it's anything related.
Well, cough or a fever, Rob?
Not really, no.
Okay, well, you know. Right, let's get on with this, Rob. Now, I do have to say that some of my stories are COVID-19 related. I mean, when I was looking around, it has saturated the news sort of agenda. Although I have some stories that have nothing to do with it and which are brilliant. But I do just want to report on a couple of them.
Fine.
Right, Rob, I've sent you a link to your email, just a Mail Online story that was from
Alex,
the 4th of March.
I have to stop you there because you haven't asked me the one question you normally ask me, is there any news?
Well, is there any news?
Yes.
Oh!
Which is why I mentioned it.
Sorry, everybody.
So going back to, I think it was the episode before last, we appeared surprised because obviously Steve had responded to a story in relation, because we mentioned Morley's, and he'd responded to that comment, and we asked where he'd lived in London, and I now remember that he had told us before, possibly more than once, that he lived in Catford.
What? I don't remember that. That must have been earlier. That must have been some years ago he told us that, did he? My God, Steve, you're lucky to get out of there. I went to school in Catford, spent a lot of time in Catford. I have to say, it's getting slightly more gentrified now. There are like a couple of coffee shops, but it's, I don't know, I still wouldn't want to hang around there too long.
No, I agree with that.
Right, Steve used to live in Catford. Let's remember that, Rob.
Kyber then responded to Steve's comment, because this was posted on the forum, by saying they still got you down as a Wolford man, obviously relating to the fictional town. What would it be? Fiction? Is it town?
You mean East Place in EastEnders?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is a town, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, town.
And then Steve responds, God knows, I thought me and Alex were Catford bros, but apparently not.
Can I just say about that one of the genius things about EastEnders is Wolford. It sounds completely believable.
It does, yeah, absolutely. You could easily believe that.
There really should be a place called Wolford.
Yeah.
Right, anyway.
Also,
any other news, Rob?
Yeah, just one other thing. So Steve posted a link to a story, a very good story, but he makes a few caveats by saying, A, it's not local, B, it's not a listener story submission, and C, it's 3 years old. But this is a fantastic story that should be enjoyed by everyone.
Like a lot of our stories, then, those 3 criteria. So are
Absolutely.
you going to read it out later?
No, because we've already read it out, Steve.
Oh, what was it?
Do you remember that it was the pound shop? The pair tricked by I think it was by the staff in pound shop to lick their feet, and then they were ridden around like horses.
Oh my God, I remember that story. I'd ballpark that we did that about 18 months ago to 2 years ago. I'm not sure.
Yes.
What's the date of the story? Yeah, that would make it about right. But the thing is, I think that's Steve getting us back for forgetting that he was from Catford.
It could be, actually. I never.
You forget something to do with me, I'll forget something to do with you. It's petty. Small-minded, really, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree. We thought better of you, Steve, I'll be honest. I'm about to say never contact us again, but please do contact us again, and just maintain that correspondence at all times.
Rob, can you check your email now and click on the link?
Fine.
So this is the story from the 4th of March in the Daily Mail. I've just got to read it out because it is COVID-19 related, by Emma Scully. Breathe easy. Commuters don plastic bags, storage containers and gas masks as coronavirus panic takes hold in UK, despite zero evidence to actually stop infections. It's just the pictures, Rob. I hope you've seen this story. You've got to describe them for the listener. I want you to scroll down and look at those pictures, particularly the first 2.
I have seen this story. Yeah, there's so the first 2, I don't even know. I mean, they're literally just, there's a man and a woman which look like they've got a storage container on their fucking heads.
Rob, these are people on the tube who've put storage containers over their heads and tucked them into their coats, like some kind of shit spaceman.
Yep. There's a man on Milton Keynes Station who is literally wearing a gas mask.
I like the one below it, Rob, the man with the Tesco bag over his head.
That has to be a joke, surely. Surely.
But Rob, go down a couple more and there's a man who's wrapped himself in some sort of rudimentary bubble.
I do like. Can I just say I do like the one below the Tesco man? Another man wearing, which looks like quite a sophisticated face mask, and then a man next to him giving a really dirty look.
He looks like the guy from in that mask. He looks like, you know, from the Batman film, the one that Tom Hardy played. I can't remember his name.
Yep. That's fair.
And the one below that in the bubble.
So what that is, I believe that's the rain shield off a pram that she's covered herself in.
Oh my sweet lord. Anyway.
Interestingly, the man from Milton Keynes Station has obviously then been spotted again wearing the same gas mask on what looks like, I think that's a Piccadilly line train, if anyone cares.
Yes. I also want to just give a public health announcement that the FDA in America, the Food and Drug Administration, has specified, because of some online rumours, I just want to let people know, that coronavirus cannot be cured by drinking bleach or snorting cocaine. Despite social media rumours.
Alex, hang on. Okay, I appreciate these are medical experts, but let's face it,
we've all had enough of experts, Rob.
Very true. And I would be the first to say that if you do drink bleach, it will obviously kill the coronavirus and you as well.
Right. Well, that's fair. Right, Rob. Do you want a story from Japan?
Of course I do.
This is from Sora News 24. By Master Blaster is the journalist.
No, hang on. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Japanese store curses toilet paper supply to protect it from thefts.
Right. I mean, that's quite a novel approach.
Yeah. Well, I think the idea is that stealing toilet paper is such an evil that can only be undone by a greater evil, Rob.
Of course, yeah.
So in one of the more peculiar developments of the ongoing coronavirus outbreak, can I just say, one of the more peculiar developments of the ongoing coronavirus outbreak is a very good episode title.
It's going to get us hits.
Get us hits. People all over Japan have been buying up toilet paper like it's going out of style. Even still, like a roll of 2-ply flung by a 6th grader at their least favourite teacher's house, there's no stopping this.
Hang on. I'm sorry. Can we just have that again? Because I think there's an episode title in there.
Yeah, well, obviously it's a humorously written article, deliberately.
Okay.
Even still, like a roll of 2-ply flung by a 6th grader at their least favourite teacher's house.
That's brilliant.
There's no stopping this bum rush, despite the official Twitter account of the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry recently being a steady stream of stocked toilet paper pictures, because that's what Japan have been putting out, their ministry. Loads of pictures of lots of toilet roll to reassure people. There's plenty, you don't need to get it.
Brilliant. I liked the idea that's it's, you know how estate agents often take quite what's the word? I think creative pictures of flats to make it a lot bigger than they are. I wonder if it's just like 9 toilet rolls that taken maybe from a distance or up close, giving the impression that there's more than there actually is.
Quite possibly. Well, basically, a lot of people have been facing problems of theft, Rob. That was a problem faced by a store owner in Niigata Prefecture, going by their Twitter account. At least it was their problem until they took matters into their own hands and summoned the forces of evil to protect the shop's restroom from bandits. And he said, recently the stock paper in the customer's restroom where I work has been disappearing quickly, so I handmade a few designs as a little mood-altering interior decoration and suddenly stopped losing the paper. Can I just say again, Rob, a little mood-altering interior decoration is a very good episode title.
It is, yeah, I agree.
The scrolls that he hung up with Japanese writing on them took about a minute to make and feature a few ominous kanji characters such as hunger and evil and 3 all-seeing eyes. After 3 to 5 rolls started vanishing every day, he whipped up the curse without hesitation. It's an old habit of the store owner who used to scrawl a curse on the last pudding cup in order to prevent others from getting to it first. Actually, maybe look, I tell you what, Rob, to get other people to keep their distance from me and therefore stop them passing the virus on to me, I could walk around with a kind of, like, I don't know, wear some kind of sandwich board or paste a kind of notice to myself saying that I am cursed. You could do that, couldn't you? You could pretend to have the coronavirus to keep other people away from you so they don't give it to you.
Very true, yeah.
I have the virus, steer clear.
I mean, I tend to steer clear of anyone wearing a sandwich board at the best of times, but if one's saying, I have the coronavirus, please keep clear, I think we'd do it.
I'm going to have to be honest here, Rob. I felt dreadful today when I got on the train home. And I'm beginning to look at whether other people appear ill or whether they're making any noises which sound like they're ill. And so I made my way down the carriage. I'd heard one person sort of coughing a bit and blowing the nose. I thought, right, I'm going nowhere near you. And looked and saw a guy who looked reasonably young, fit and healthy, and he's reading a magazine. And I sat down opposite him. And I was fine there for 5 minutes until I suddenly heard somebody blowing their nose into a tissue quite loudly and looked up, and it was him. And I thought, right.
That's unlucky.
I'm going to sit here for 10 seconds and then I'm just going to get up and leave. And I'm not going to pretend like there's any reason for it, and that's what I did. And of course he knows that the only reason I've left is because he sounds ill. And I was basically sending out the message that you are diseased and I don't want to be anywhere near around you. And I actually went and sat by the toilets. Maybe I should have gone in the toilet and just barricaded myself away for the journey.
Exactly, because going in there, maybe, I don't know, lick the bowl to try and get the vomiting out, then, any virus that's there would be cleared of your body.
No, I meant I could have used it as a containment vessel.
Oh, I see, that too, yeah, that would work.
Or I could have just stayed in there for 6 months, Rob, use it like a stasis chamber, come out and find out whether everybody's alive or dead.
I mean, I think if you spent 6 months locked in a train toilet, I think you probably know the answers to that, and I think you would just want to end your own life.
Seriously though, Rob, before I move on to the next story, the only way to really avoid this completely, to absolutely guarantee you don't get it, is just to literally go to woods and camp out away from everybody for about 6 months.
Did you not see that story in The Guardian? Which basically, apparently the wealthy 1% are hiring their private jets and flying off to countries around the world that have no confirmed cases, or in extreme circumstances, basically barricading themselves in bunkers, well-stocked bunkers. It was an extraordinary story. I mean, it was something out of a disaster film. I'll see if I'll find the article and send it across to you, because it's just, I mean, I didn't feature on the podcast because it's just one of those where it just boggles the mind, basically.
I'd like to read that. Right, Rob, onto unrelated news not related to COVID-19. This is from Fox News by Robert Gearty. It's a local story to Michigan. Okay?
Yep, okay.
One of the best headlines I think we've ever had. Ancient sword of the meth king seized by Michigan police.
That's quite a headline you got there.
A Michigan police department has announced the seizure of the, in quotes, ancient sword of the meth king. The Bath Township Police Department posted a photo of the toothed blade last week on Facebook. And they wrote, in the early morning of January the 27th, officers conducted a traffic stop on a vehicle. A subsequent search located a very odd combination of illegally possessed weapons as well as methamphetamine. Now, Rob, can I just say, a very odd combination of illegally possessed weapons as well as methamphetamine is a brilliant episode title.
It is, but surely the headline, which includes whatever the sword of the meth king, has to be in there somewhere.
I'll leave that up to you, Rob. It's your job, right? So basically, they've tweeted a picture of everything they found. I'm going to just describe some of the things that are on the table. There is a dagger that looks like the kind of thing that would have been used by Rambo. There is a very heavy-duty machine gun. There is an assault rifle. There are about 3 flick knives of various length. There is another knife. And there is this huge, Rob... It looks like something from a science fiction movie. If you think the blade is huge, the handle is huge, and the blade just kind of goes out and tapers out. It's very straight. It has a flat top. It's not pointed, but it's got horizontal blades that come out of it like teeth.
Wow. Okay.
It really is a toothed blade, and it's probably about 3 foot long, 4 foot long. I don't know.
I don't know what to say to this. Did you ever used to play Final Fantasy?
Yeah, it's like that kind of thing, yeah.
Right, okay.
They tagged the seizure a new high point and said it was like Lord of the Rings meets John Wick, and they described the sword as the ancient sword of the Meth King, because obviously it was found alongside a huge hoard of meth.
I mean, the ancient sword of the Meth King. I mean, if that's not a children's story, then what is?
Okay, Rob, you got some stories for us there.
Yeah, the first story I happened to spot, and also is actually submitted by Amy. It is from the whole Daily Mail. Of course, what confuses me, the whole Daily Mail. I don't think it has any. It's not affiliated to the actual Daily Mail, as far as I'm aware. The story is from the 8th of May. This is coronavirus related, even. The journalist has a fantastic name. So it's by Barnabas Stevenson.
I love that name. I worked with somebody once called Barnabas, and it's the only Barnabas I've ever met. I worked with him on the delicatessen at Waitrose, when I was doing A-levels.
Yeah, I used to know... I knew
he had
Barnabas.
A fondness for chickens as well, the rotisserie ones. I'm not saying he took them out the back and shagged them, but he did used to take some out the back and eat them. They were cooked, I should say that.
Good to know. Yeah, I used to go to school with a Barnabas. No, I'm not going to say that because it could incriminate him. Anyway, right. So, do you know? I think Barnabas Stevenson sounds like he was a Victorian dandy that maybe used to own maybe a string of mills.
I was about to say, yeah, like a factory. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
On the same page, Rob, again. Okay, get on with it.
So, Bridlington Amusement Arcade mocks coronavirus panic by filling its grabbing machine with toilet rolls.
Shouldn't be making light of this. What was it called? Middleton? What was
Bridlington.
Bridlington, sorry, Kate. Bridlington.
So, an amusement arcade hopes to slow down panic buyers by making a toilet roll star prize on their 30p a go grabbing machine. I mean, it says star prize, but I mean, from the pictures here, there's only toilet rolls in there. So, anyway. So, like most of Britain, Eddie Chapman has been baffled by the terrified shoppers.
Sorry, Rob. Eddie Chapman is also a great name.
It is.
Are these people real? Barnabas, what was his name?
Barnabas Stevenson.
And Eddie Chapman.
Yeah. I know he owns an amusement arcade.
Eddie Chapman would have been in a band in the 80s.
But again,
and he played. He stepped in once and played for Genesis when their bass guitarist was ill.
Yes, he did.
Eddie Chapman. He played on one record. It was a B-side.
And now he plays on a Genesis tribute band, Deuteronomy. Very, very niche
Brilliant. Reference. I don't think, but Deuteronomy is different than Genesis, Rob. You need to think of a synonym for Genesis.
Oh, but I couldn't.
He plays. There was a good gag in there. He plays for a tribute band of Genesis called Origin.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. I like that.
But I did like that, Rob.
Eddie Chapman to me sounds like a man who would own an arcade.
Absolutely.
So Eddie Chapman has been baffled by the terrified shoppers clearing supermarket shelves in the wake of the coronavirus crisis. And now he's come up with a genius plan to halt the hoarding at the Chapman's Funland amusement arcade in Bridlington.
I would never, ever, unless it was for the purpose of this podcast, want to go to the Chapman Funland in Bridlington. Where the fuck is Bridlington?
Good question.
Hull.
Yeah, so Humberside, I think. I don't quite know.
Rob, would you go to Chapman's Funland?
Well, interestingly, it's not Funland, it's Fundland.
What does that mean? That also... Okay, right, well, that suggests to me, Rob, that he's made a Freudian slip in the name, because it's not really about having a good time, it's about him making money. Funds.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's actually quite a witty pun that we're not appreciating.
Right.
So Eddie's Max Grab Machine, which sounds...
No, hang on a minute. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it, Rob. There's a Metropolitan Police... but Hull police investigation coming in if he keeps using these strange names. What was it? What was the first one? Chapman's Fundland and Eddie's Grab Machine.
Yeah, Eddie's Max Grab Machine.
Fucking hell, Rob.
Which sounds like a...
I like this story. It's the gift that keeps giving this.
So Eddie's Max Grab Machine has had its plush toys replaced with lavatory paper and punters are queuing up to spend 30 pennies. The 38-year-old said his idea was a way to spread some cheer in these worrying times, and he hopes his customers will see the funny side.
Rob, he's short-sighted. In Hull, it will take a mere 24 hours before somebody's gone to that machine with a baseball bat and just taken the toilet roll with them.
Yeah, or just nick the entire machine.
Or that.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, because you want the toilet paper, and also, then you could charge people to play it.
Good idea.
He says, I think all this panic buying of toilet roll has become... Oh, God. It doesn't really work. Ludicrous. Ludicrous. And so came up with this idea to hopefully get people to calm down. It's 30p a go, and we replaced the plush toys in the machine with loo paper. It's not quilted or anything, just bog standard. Or as our friend used to say, Bob standard.
Yeah, Rob and I worked with a guy who obviously had been hearing the phrase bog standard for many years, but he just misheard it. And so when he said it, he'd say Bob standard, B-O-B. Which I prefer.
Yeah, because it just makes it sound... He sounds like a second-hand car dealer.
Rob, I was thinking, I don't know why, but I don't know why this came to my mind as you were talking about this story, but I did suddenly think to myself, I really believe and predict that one of the things that's going to happen because of a result of this COVID-19 thing, pandemic, is there's going to be a worldwide drop, massive drop, in conceptions and birth rates. Because you would have to assume that less people are just going to be sleeping with each other. And when I say sleeping, I don't mean getting 40 winks. I mean sex.
Thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any comedy in that necessarily, but it's a good point.
Thank you.
And that segues quite nicely into my second story, which is from the Liverpool Echo.
Worldwide birth rates drop dramatically due to COVID-19. Was that it?
No. Excuse me. So the story is by Gemma Jalil, who is apparently the parenting and what's on family writer.
That's a 2-bit job if ever I've heard it.
Yeah,
we've got no other job to give you, so we're going to create this one.
But more depressingly, it's also by a guy called Luke Matthews, who has no title. So he really got the short straw.
When you say no title, isn't that his title? The one you just read out?
That's Gemma's title.
Oh right, he's the work experience guy then.
Yeah, that could be right. So the story's from the 29th of January. It goes back just over a month. Mum horrified after finding a message written on toddler's belly by nursery workers. A mum was horrified to find a note scored across her toddler's belly by staff at her son's nursery. Single mother of two, Heather, found the message after coming home from a long day at work. She was changing her son Milo's nappy to discover the writing in green marker pen across his stomach, reported the Mirror. She took to Facebook to vent, saying she was furious with what her daycare had done, explaining that normally they would put a daily note in both her children's lunchboxes to let her know how they behaved during the day. The American mum must have missed a message from the day before Milo needed more diapers, as she was then faced with a huge message written on his tummy. It read, "Mum, I'm out of diapers. Please read my report."
Was this in America?
This is in the US, yeah.
What the fuck?
Yes, yeah.
What?
So, just to clarify...
Was it written in a Sharpie? I mean, I don't think it's actually good for you to have that kind of... did you ever used to worry? I remember when I was a child and there was some rumour that went around that if you wrote something on your hand, which we all used to do, you'd get ink poisoning. I never quite worked out what ink poisoning was. I don't know if it's a real thing.
I don't think it is, no. I think they were just scaremongering. No,
Even today, Rob, I won't write anything on my hand due to fear of ink poisoning.
So yeah, as we were clarifying, so the nursery normally leaves a note in the lunchboxes for the parents to pick up to remind them if they need wipes or diapers, because obviously he is only young. But in this case, the nursery in question decided to write a message in green pen on his belly. So the mum said, "Now keep in mind, I see several teachers at drop-off and several at pick-up. If I failed to see that he needed diapers, a simple, 'Hey Heather, your son needs diapers. Maybe you missed a report,' would have done the trick. From any of the teachers there, I see on a daily basis."
Rob, I've just got an image, like all these parents come out to collect their children, right? And like there's one standing there with just on his forehead, "Don't forget parents' evening."
Just all these notes.
Another one, "Can you remember his PE kit tomorrow?" Just like scrawled on his cheek.
But instead, I changed his diaper this afternoon and see this written on my son with marker. I scrubbed it with several baby wipes. It's not coming off. I plan to take him to the beach to play, and now I can't because my son has writing all over him. Fair point. I'm a single man with a full-time job and 2 very young children. Sue me for not reading the report every day.
Yeah, it feels like they were trying to make a point. It feels like they were trying to punish her and vicariously the child. It's not on, Rob.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, Alex. So turning to others to ensure her reaction was justified, she wrote, "I need opinions. Am I right to be furious about this, or am I overreacting? I really need your opinion, guys, because I'm about to barge into the daycare tomorrow and have some words. Give it to me straight, people."
Now, I'd be reporting that to whatever their equivalent of a local authority is and withdrawing my child from the nursery.
That seems to be the gist of the main comments.
Or I'd write a note back on the child so that when they next go to change it, it says, "We're leaving tomorrow. Screw you," sort of thing.
I would be worried then you get into a dangerous precedent where they then say if he wrote on the arm that they respond on the other arm, then it moves to his back and then his legs.
But the child becomes like a real living WhatsApp message.
Exactly, yeah, until the point
which is surely where this society is going.
It's only a matter of time.
I don't know what to say about this story, Rob. It's not that long, but you are going to have to prepare yourself. I want you to sort of, as the Bible says, gird your loins. I want you to buckle up internally and prepare yourself.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Now, ironically, this story is by Korozon Wafula. Sounds a bit like coronavirus, but it's not. Just saying. And it's from a paper that's called The Star. It's not Our Star. It is a paper that's called The Star in somewhere in Africa. I'm not entirely sure.
Again, I keep mentioning.
Where
on the
do
podcast.
I find these papers?
Yes.
I'll reveal it one day. Okay, Rob, are you ready for this?
I think so.
It was posted on the 6th of March. Prepare yourself, listeners. Watchman, I don't know what that is, but we'll get onto that. Watchman denies committing bestiality with landlord's hen.
Right. Okay. I'm concerned that this particular watchman, with his sole responsibility was to watch over his landlord's hen.
What is a watchman, Rob?
Well, I'm assuming someone that has responsibility, like a security guard, someone.
Yeah. Right.
Who provides protection to some degree.
Okay, let's find out where this is, because I don't recognise the name of this region, and I think we do need to know where it is. Oh, Nairobi. So Nairobi, Kenya. Yeah.
Yep.
Nairobi is the capital of Kenya. So I'm pretty sure that's where this is based. Okay. A 65-year-old Kahawa West watchman has denied committing bestiality with his landlord's hen. Mwendo Kinzillo allegedly lured the hen, Rob, by dropping food near his abode on January the 30th. His landlord, Francis Waweru, rears chickens and ducks. Makarada Chief Magistrate Heston Niaga was on Friday told that Waweru, who is the landlord, was away at the time of the alleged offence. But he arrived shortly thereafter, so when he comes back, with 2 neighbours, and found the bird dead under a motor vehicle. God.
My concern. Can I? So first of all, do we think this chap has been waiting for the right moment to try and molest this poor chicken?
Hen, yeah, romance the hen.
And I hope I'm going to say this, and I hope it isn't the case. Do you think he's used the vehicle to keep the hen still?
I don't think that would work.
Well, you could put it in the door, maybe.
Rob, more to the point is, how do you think the hen died?
Well, I mean, I don't know how. Again, it goes back to that anecdote that I've mentioned on this podcast on many times, which was told by Emmanuel Nucci. I'm worried that maybe this poor cock was burst by a cock.
What was the anecdote from Amanda Iannucci? I can't remember that one.
Oh, so when they were writing, I think it was either the Day-to-Day or Alan Partridge at the BBC.
I think it was the Day-to-Day. This is coming back to me, yeah.
Yeah, so it turns out the writing room for Last of Rewind was next door, and in there had a list of basically plot lines. And it turned, I think it was Peter Bainham added one just to have the fantastic immortal line, "Compo burst puppy with cock."
Yeah, that would have been a good episode.
It would be. I mean, I'm not sure it would have aired on prime time BBC One.
Well,
on the Sunday afternoon, but
the episode would still have ended with them all in a bath, going down a hill, going, "Oh no," like everyone did. Anyway,
true, yeah.
So Rob, the landlord comes back and finds the hen dead under a motor vehicle. So you with me so far?
I am.
He asked the accused what happened to the chicken, and the man said he'd accidentally killed it. He promised to pay for it the following day as he was rushing to work. So he gets out of there. Gotta go to work. But I'll pay for it. Don't worry. I accidentally killed it. I don't know how you accidentally kill a hen, Rob.
Oh, there's many ways you could accidentally kill a hen.
Arm wrestle that goes wrong.
Yeah, a knife throwing accident. Something involving petrol.
So Waweru and the neighbours, so this is the landlord, examined the carcass, Rob, and found, Rob, prepare yourself, part of the intestines protruding. They took the carcass and filed a complaint at Kahawa West Police Post. Yeah, I think my tenant has fucked my hen to death. That's my complaint.
I mean, we've all been there, Alex. Come on.
Okay, Rob, let me just get to the rest of this. There's only 2 paragraphs left. Mwendo was arrested, Rob. And what do you think the police found that incriminated him?
Maybe a feather under his foreskin?
Close enough. They found bloodstains around the zipper of his trousers.
Oh, God.
I know. The following day, the clothing item and the carcass were taken to a veterinarian who established that the hen had been violated. Rob, is this story real?
It does sound like something that could be made up. I mean...
It's not, because I checked it in other places. He's a hen fucker, Rob. And he's been ordered to undergo a psychiatric examination, which I think is a good idea.
Yeah, that's fair,
and was released on a bond. The hearing resumes on July the 9th. So I need to make a note. Shall I put a note for myself in my diary? July 9th, check hen fucker story. I don't want that in my diary.
No, please do. And hopefully it pops up on the tube and someone happens to see it on the way into work.
Okay, Rob. I've got a story now from the Manchester Evening News.
Lovely.
By Nias Price and Simon Smith from the 6th of March 2020. Rob, this is a story that could have only happened in Manchester. Why the fuck were you just making that face at me over webcam? It really fucking scared me.
Sorry, I just realised.
You look like you were shitting yourself.
No, I'm wearing a hoodie, and I put the cord from the hood of my mouth, and then for a second forgot I was on webcam.
And blew. You blew, so your cheeks popped out. But I enjoyed it.
Good.
Are you flirting with me, Rob?
Alex, if I was flirting, you'd know about it.
Oh, right, okay. Well,
I'd get my nipples out.
Well, you did that a few episodes ago.
Well, yeah.
Rob, one of the best headlines, surely, in a long time. Ready?
Yep.
Gym staff's horror after man, open quotes, leaves showers covered in poo, close quotes, and he wasn't even a member.
What was the first bit? Gym
staff's horror after man leaves showers covered in poo, and he wasn't even a member.
The caveat of he wasn't even a member. I don't know why. Yeah. That reminds me of Partridge for some reason.
It really does. Gym staff were left retching, Rob, when a foul-mouthed man allegedly defecated in their changing room showers, and he wasn't even a member. Gym owner Ben Bardsley was horrified when staff alerted him to a member of the public who was reportedly getting abusive at Holborn's Health and Fitness in Stockport, Greater Manchester on Wednesday. 2 female members of staff claimed they tried to confront a man who'd used their showers, only for him to refuse to pay and threaten them with a barrage of abuse. However, the women had no idea what was in store for them when they followed a vile smell that he'd left in the showers, stinking out the entire gym. One staff member named Kirsty, who did not wish to give her surname. Right, well, how many Kirstys working in Holborn's Health and Fitness in Stockport, Greater Manchester, are there going to be? That's Absolutely. Not a way to keep yourself anonymous.
I'm pretty sure if I went down there today and asked for Kirsty, there would only be one of them there. Then I could ask her all about the man who shit in the showers.
Exactly. She discovered, Rob, feces splattered throughout, Rob. Not one.
Oh,
Rob,
the word one. Splattered.
Rob, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 separate showers. How much did he have in him?
I suppose, so, what? It sounds like he just went off like a sprinkler.
Well, also one shower head had been broken off and had been used to try and find something inside his bum, because I've seen a picture of it.
Oh my God!
The handle of it is coated in shit, so he shoved that up his arse. Rob, this was a dirty protest.
Hang on. Sorry, can I just clarify then? So, is there a possibility that he shoved it up his rectum and then let rip, which might explain how...
Oh, I see. He could have been pleasuring himself.
It was a shit shower, Alex.
Poor Kirsty and her colleague had no choice but to clean up the disgusting mess, leaving the duo nearly throwing up throughout the clean-up operation. Can you please visualise that, Rob?
I am, Alex, don't worry.
So basically, they contacted their manager via FaceTime. The manager wasn't there. It doesn't say where he was. So they were describing this to him over FaceTime.
Okay.
Ben, the manager, 38, remained on FaceTime with his staff throughout as he watched a shocking incident unfold and then witnessed their horrible discovery. Ben from Stockport said they're both retching and had to run out of the toilet to compose themselves before they were obviously finding just more and more of it. The pictures don't do it justice, he says. I only showed a little bit of it in the photos. There was poo all down 4 showers, bits of it up the walls and everything. The splatters of poo were everywhere, and it wasn't even like dog poo, where you can pick it up. Kirsty of Stockport, so that's also ruined her anonymity, Rob. We know where she's from. I was at the counter with another female of staff. We have a policy that members come straight to the counter and sign in, but he just walked past. We asked if he was okay, he ignored us. My colleague walked down to where he'd gone. She couldn't find him in the gym. I was aware there were only 4 other members in at the same time, and I could see them in the gym, so it must be him in the shower. We peeped our head around the men's. You can't see the showers, but you can see the benches. He'd put meters and meters of blue roll on a bench and stacked it up really high. I thought that's really weird. He's just come in for a shower, not brought a towel or a change of clothes. Clearly he's got the blue roll to dry himself. That's a bit crazy. The man appeared 30 minutes later. They asked if he'd used the shower and kindly asked him to pay, but soon the situation became out of control. He came out and just walked up the corridor, stormed past us. We said, "You're going to have to pay for a day pass." He used vile language and was very aggressive. I put Ben on FaceTime. He was raging. The man was raging. He kept running, stepping towards us and spitting at us. They claimed the man was very threatening but unfazed when they photographed him. He was saying, "I'll come and get you. You're both dead. You better be careful. You don't know who I am or who you're messing with." And they took some pictures of him, and then they went to the showers and found Rob feces splattered everywhere. It was all over the showers and the curtains were broken. It was disgusting. The whole bottom end of the gym stunk. Not a euphemism. Luckily, there was only one other member of gym in at the time. He hadn't been in the change rooms. It absolutely stunk. It was awful. They had no idea where to start with the cleanup process, which took them 30 minutes. I was nearly sick and just gagged and left the room. We had to put on 3 pairs of gloves. We held our breath, put jumpers on over our noses, and managed to do it all in one go.
Holy shit.
Indeed. But as I said, Rob, this kind of thing is an everyday occurrence in that neck of the woods. Okay, Rob. After that extraordinary story, we now come to our listener story of the week. And who's it from?
So this week it is from Kyber. Now, we haven't had a story like this for a while. And actually, Alex, this story would make a nice campfire segment.
Oh, would it? Okay,
yeah,
hang on.
I think so.
Can I just need to get the kindle wood.
Yeah.
Find a light around here. There we go. Oh, and they would light the campfire. Does that feel good, or can you feel that?
Oh, lovely. It's a
that
cold
should kill
night
any
tonight,
viruses
so
around as well, shouldn't it? I assume.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's a very good point. So this week we are in a thicket in the woods. Night
hiding
is
out from the virus.
Hiding out from the virus.
You've got it, Rob. I haven't got it. So if I haven't got it, you haven't got it. We're both protected, and we can
we're
make
both
love
fine
with
we
with
can
free
make
abandon.
Which again would help the warmth. So we've made our makeshift shelter for the evening. It's a beautiful night. The stars are coming out. It's a full
I just want to
moon.
say, sorry, Rob. I just want to say about the making love. I did bring a hen, but unfortunately it perished.
Right. I mean that's fine. We can eat it.
So you'll do.
Can I just clarify? Did it perish before or after you've
No, I just got hungry and ate it.
Fine. Okay. Good. That's good to know. It's a beautiful night, so we'll sit down on our logs and sit around the campfire.
Is that a euphemism?
No. We've not shit anywhere in this thicket. It's as nature intended. So there might be, other creatures' feces, but not ours. Well, maybe later we'll dig a hole or something. Anyway, that's not the point.
All right, okay, Rob, the campfire's on. It's going to burn out soon. Get on with the fucking story. We're running out of time here, by the way.
It's from Kyber. It's from the Irish Post, which I don't know where it's from, but it seems like a legitimate paper, so that's all that matters. It's from the 28th of January 2020 by Harry Brent. Good name. Dog rides bus by herself every day to play in the local park, then takes bus home again.
Right.
If you've ever been too scared to let your kids take the public bus by themselves, you might change your mind when you see this.
Well, I'd be even more scared to let them take the bus by themselves. There's a fucking dog on it, riding on its own.
Alex, she means no harm. She just wants to go to the park to play. She's an adorable black lab and mastiff mix who travels to the park every day by herself. Because she doesn't need no man, or woman for that matter. Incredibly, she jumps on the bus near her home in Seattle, Washington, and rides downtown, getting off at the park where she frolics with her fellow four-legged friends.
This is very cute, Rob.
I know. And it really is. After a couple of hours, she returns to the bus stop. Go on.
I'll put the marshmallows on, because it's warming my heart, this. I'll put some marshmallows on.
After a couple of hours, she returns to the bus stop, jumps back on, using the ticket attached to her collar, and returns home ready for a supper. The remarkable story started one day when the excitement of the park was just too much, and Eclipse got tired of waiting for her owner, Jeff, to finish his cigarette as the bus was pulling up. She jumped on without him, and before we could react, the bus had set off. Fortunately, the bus driver recognised her and, not wanting to disappoint the determined traveller, dropped her off at the park before Jeff eventually caught up. After a few more solo trips, Jeff realised that Eclipse was more than capable of making the trip without him, so he decided to let her.
Lazy fucking bastards. He decided I'm just going to stay inside and eat Doritos and smoke fags while you take the bus to the park. By the way, I don't think she's going to the park. I think that's what she's told him. I think she's having an affair with another owner and letting him walk her round the park. That's what I think's happening.
Yeah, could be.
It's a love story, really.
So he decided to let her, adorably fixing a bus ticket to her collar every morning, knowing full well...
this man is negligent. This is... What do you mean, fixing a dog? Okay, right. And just an open tin of food round her neck so she can just dip into it when she needs to.
No, she comes home and has her breakfast in the morning. She takes herself to the bus stop. She gets on the bus. She goes to the park, plays with her friends, gets back on the bus, comes home for a supper.
All right.
It's just a lovely story. Regular passengers on the bus have even got to know Eclipse, and as expected, she makes everyone smile. A Facebook post detailing Eclipse's journey has garnered roughly 300,000 shares. That's quite an achievement. I think there's a lesson we can all learn. Be more dog. And that's it. That's the end of the story.
The lesson we can all learn is that you don't really need to look after a dog. You can just leave it to fend for itself. If you basically give it no other choice, it will have to do what it has to do to survive. Right, great.
Yes, fine.
Okay,
fine.
Rob. Look, we bring this episode of LA Podcast to a close, and we look forward with a mixture of eager anticipation yet trepidation to our next episode, which will be 307. And I do remind people that I will be revealing the dark secret of episode 300, our 300th episode that has a very dark secret hidden within it. I'll be revealing that on episode 310. Don't let me forget, Rob. Anyway, as we move ever more forward, Rob, like what?
Like a dog that's on the way to the park, as her owner abandons her for another day. Just like that.
I don't think she even does that, Rob. I think she goes off and she's learnt. He's also trained her to go to the shops and buy him fags, buy him stuff. She comes back with carrier bag strapped round her neck.
Yep, I think that's probably fair.
Just like that, we move ever more forward to our next episode, which, as I say, will be episode 307. We can be found on our website, lapodcast.net. From there, you can download all of our previous episodes for free. There is a donate button in the top right-hand corner. You want to leave us a tip, you want to set up a rolling donation. All of that helps fund the worthy cause that is this podcast. We're on Spotify. We are on all your podcast apps, and wherever you're getting us from, whatever podcast app you're using, can you subscribe? And please, 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 I know I keep saying it, I don't think enough of you have fucking done it. Sorry to get aggressive, but it's been a long day. Could you please leave us a review? If you want to submit us a story, post it on Facebook, facebook.com/LA Podcast. You can tweet it to us at LA Podcast, or email us the good old-fashioned way at LA Podcast. No, what is it? lapodcast.net@gmail.com. That's lapodcast.net@gmail.com. And from now on, listeners, I'm going to be trying to do this, and Rob will too, but I think he struggled this week. The headlines that never made it at the end of this episode, because what we've never told people, Rob, in all the 300 episodes we do this, that when we're researching stories, we do read some gems of headlines that just the stories aren't worth reading out, or the headline basically encapsulates it all. So this week, here are my headlines that never made it. You ready, Rob?
Yep.
Coronavirus conference cancelled due to coronavirus.
Yep, nice.
I love this one. Can we be so sure Benjamin Franklin wasn't a serial murderer?
Yeah. I mean, I think about it every day, Alex.
San Antonio woman's bag of flaming hot Cheetos filled with regular Cheetos instead.
I will be outraged at that.
Yep. School whose name means shit moves for name change.
Yeah, that's probably wise.
Their name literally translated as shit. They didn't realise. Teenager takes down nearly 400-pound feral hog terrorising Texas ranch. Rob, this hog, which I saw a picture of, was the size of a hippopotamus.
Wow.
I've never seen anything like it. One of my favourite headlines, and well, again, you're probably thinking, why didn't you read this out? This is a headline, Rob. He fled in his underwear, he was taken down in his underwear, he resisted in his underwear, and he was subdued with a taser in his underwear.
I mean, what a title.
I know. And last headline, Aussie family orders $2,000 worth of toilet roll by mistake. What happened was, because she was panicking about coronavirus, she meant to buy 48 rolls, Rob, but she ended up buying 48 boxes of 48 rolls and didn't realise till they turned up on her doorstep. She's got a garage full of them.
Brilliant. I mean, to me, let's face it, she's in a position now where she can sell those on at a profit.
Absolutely, and if any of you are struggling to get a loo roll, you know where to go. We will see you next week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening, and do stay safe, follow the guidance that I laid out at the beginning of this, and just look after yourselves and each other. I'm going all Jerry Springer there, Rob.
Yeah, strange.
What I loved about that is that his show was so clearly just totally immoral and really exploiting people who really couldn't help themselves, but he sort of tried to make it better by at the end just saying, as long as I tack on the end of this, like, hey, be good, that'll wipe out the previous 45 minutes you've just been subjected to.
I mean, to be fair, if people last that long, I think it probably did. That was probably all they needed, to be honest.
Yeah, and if you've lasted this long, thank you for listening. God bless.
And keep it local.